Double Action Stallion here, and today we're here to talk about the CZ75 variant known as the TS2. Just an incredible pistol. I love this gun, and I'm going to give a quick review from the perspective of a non-competitor. I don't compete, so, you know, in this gun, it's a competition gun. So for me, it's just a nice range toy, a way for me to leave my boys in the dust at the range, just for me to have a really high-end, nice pistol. So it'll be a review from that perspective, even though it is a competition pistol. So, and maybe that I have this thing now, maybe I'll dabble in that one day. But and I also want to discuss why I chose the TS2 over the Shadow 2, because I was going to pick one of them. I ended up with this one, and I'm going to talk about the reasons why. But first, let's just get into the basics of the weapon here. 5 1/4 inch barrel, about a 48-ounce gun, super heavy gun, beautiful checkering on the front and the rear, nice Magwell. This one's 9mm, single action only gun, with one of the most incredible triggers you've ever felt. I mean, it is unreal. We'll show you real quick. Just a little bit of take up, almost none. Oh, and with a beautiful reset. The trigger on this is unbelievable. I can't talk about it enough. It's one of the best triggers I've ever felt, and it's not even close. I haven't shot a whole lot of high-end pistols. This is the most expensive pistol I've ever shot, coming in at about $1,400. So it's not cheap, but it's worth every single penny. And it, of course, it has CZ's internal rail, so the frame wraps around the slide versus the slide wrapping around the frame. So you've got a lighter reciprocating mass, and which leads it to be a faster gun, lower recoiling gun. So along with that internal slide, along with the weight, along with it being a 9mm, it almost doesn't recoil at all. It's just incredible. And with that beautiful trigger, it's one of the easiest pistols you could ever want to shoot. So let's get into the reason why I chose this over the Shadow 2 though. So first off, as I mentioned before, I'm not a competitor. I don't compete. From what I understand, the Shadow 2 is allowed in more competitions than this one. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm not a competitor. So, but since I'm not, that didn't matter to me. So, and I've got plenty of guns for home defense. This is not a home defense gun. Like I said, this is a range toy. So I didn't care about the light rail you get with the Shadow 2. It just didn't matter to me. And this has a single action trigger, like I mentioned. The Shadow is a double action, single action gun. So I wanted the better trigger. This thing just has a better trigger. The Shadow 2 has an amazing trigger, but this one, in my opinion, is in a league of its own from what I've experienced. And this one, of course, has a longer barrel than the Shadow 2, and because of that, it's a little bit heavier. So for all those reasons, like I said, I don't compete. I don't care about that. This one's heavier. It recoils less, has a better trigger. It led me to this one. So with the Shadow 2 being a shorter gun, it's a little bit faster, I'm sure. So it definitely does have that advantage. But I mean, with all the other things, especially that trigger, led me to buy this one. The only thing I really wish this one had was an optics mount. And whether I get the slide milled or on the green version, they actually have the frame drilled and tapped right here for a gas pedal and that you can get a bracket for, that you can mount an optic to. But maybe I'll do that. But that's really the only complaint. I wish you could mount an optic, but with the fiber optic front and that blacked out rear sight, you get an amazing sight picture. So it's really not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So, and I will say though, the Shadow 2 is an incredible pistol. So if you're torn between the two, you can't go wrong either way. I mean, I wouldn't criticize you for picking the Shadow 2 over this. I picked this one for the reasons I discussed, but you can't go wrong either way. So we're going to shoot this thing. We're going to put it through its paces today. Hopefully I can show off with it a little bit today. And if I can, it's me, because this thing, it is just incredible. I just really can't say it enough. It's worth every penny. So we're going to get some mags loaded up, and yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 10 yards away. We've got a target-rich environment. Let's have some fun. right, easy, quick dueling tree clear, rather. We're gonna push the targets out and test this thing at some distance. Be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the full-size IPSC target in a 10-inch plate at about 50 yards. So let's see what we can do with this TS2. It's easy with this thing. With that trigger, with the low recoil, 50 yards, just simply not a problem. Let's push those out further. Let's make this challenging. Be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the full-size IPSC target at 100 yards. So let's see what we can do with this TS2. Okay, come on. Here we go. Guys, 5 hits in a row, pretty fast, at 100 yards. I'm telling you, this gun is unbelievable. All right, we're back up close. Like I said, this is a competition gun, and I don't compete, but I can pretend. Beep. Wow, that was so much fun. This pistol is unreal. So, I mean, that was just about as much fun as you can have with a 9mm pistol. Holy. But to conclude today's review, if you can call it a review, it's more me just telling you how awesome this pistol is. You know, we'll just talk about a few of the downsides. First downside is the price. So, it's an expensive pistol. This is the base model. There's tiers above this, and the price just keeps going up. But with this base model being about $1,400, it is expensive. I'm not a rich guy. This is an incredible amount of money for me to spend on a single pistol, but it's worth every penny. You actually get your money's worth out of this pistol. It's just worth it. It is. So save up for it if you have to. Trade some guns. Do what you got to do, because it's worth every penny. It truly is. So, and the only other downside I would say, like I mentioned before, is the inability to mount an optic on it. So, and with this being the base tier, there's really not a whole lot of things you can do besides sending it off to get the slide milled, or maybe sending it off to get the frame drilled and tapped for that bracket that goes over the top that you can mount an optic to. But the other tiers, the higher tiers, are, I think, set up for that. I know the green one has the throttle pedal that you can hook that bracket to hook an optic on, but with the base tier, no optic. And but I mean, as you can see, at 100 yards with this sight setup, with the sight radius and the trigger, you really don't need it. So, but I can only imagine what you could do with an optic on this pistol. But guys, thanks for watching. Comment below, tell me what you think, and Double Action Stallion out. Hiya! That was a bad one. Keep going, keep going. Hiya! Double Action Stallion here, and today we're here to talk about